Good morning, Senna, and let me say a very good morning to the church listeners of Radio Gold.
How are you doing?
By God's grace, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am also doing well. In fact, the US and the rest of the Western world, what we know is the majority of the purchases you do it to credit. So lots of you will say, my credit card, my credit card. Dr. Bawumia says, why not set up a system that helps you introduce this in Ghana? And you're saying that whatever he's proposing is not new?
Yes, Senna. Let me say, I think the presidential candidate for the NPP, Dr. Bawumia, who doubles as the failed mate, seems to be confused with the difference between having a credit score and being credit ready. A credit score basically is just a database that tracks, the history of creditors, by lenders to know, how responsible, how disciplined you are and committed in terms of payment, i.e. just your debt, right? That is the essence of the credit score. Now, what has a credit score got to do with unemployed Ghanaians? What has credit score got to do with persons who are not credit ready? We are talking about persons who do not have sustainable cash inflow from reliable sources to even attract to be on a database where you can have a credit score that people can, lenders can easily, trace and know whether you are credit ready or not. Okay, so you have the vice president seem not to be in a position to understand the difference here. You are standing in front of unemployed people and you are telling them that you're going to introduce a credit score and you expect that credit score would give them that leverage to be able to access funds. It doesn't make sense. These people don't have jobs. These people don't have sustainable jobs to say that they have constant flow. So this proposal, it's not applicable. It's not compatible to their needs. We are talking of persons that are looking for jobs, first of all, okay, reliable source of income so that they can also attract, lenders when it comes to, having access to funds. Now, we are talking about a system that is already in existence in Ghana. Ask yourself, why is it that Dr. Bawumia didn't say this in front of teachers, in front of corporate Ghana? Because we already know, Ghanaian workers know, we have the high purchase, you go to the bank, etc. You are able to attract, loan or credit from these lenders because they have source of income from reliable sources. So it's already there. So what is new? What is the vice president trying to introduce? In any case, you introducing a credit score would largely help, the lenders to be able to track, persons who are, credit ready or otherwise. It will not necessarily help, the ordinary Ghanaian. And also, what section of Ghanaians was he looking that this proposal would help? Any other Ghanaian or those that are already gainfully employed and have access to some of these resources? So it appears that he's confused, and not be able to differentiate the difference between, being credit worthy and the credit score that just check your records. Checking records doesn't mean that it automatically gives you access to funds. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. So the vice president is confused. In other news, Senna, let's check the credit score of Ghana under Dr. Bawumia. We have international rating agencies such as Moody's, Fitch, etc. They look at Ghana's credit status and they've rendered us bankrupt. They've rendered us bankrupt. We are not credit ready. We are unable to pay our debts. Ghana is bankrupt. And this is a country headed by this particular person proposing this credit score system as the head of economic management team. That he's run the country bankrupt. He has terrible credit score, but for some reason he believes that he has the knowledge to be able to introduce a so-called credit score policies that he thinks that it would automatically give access to funds to Ghanaians. So he's confused. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And I think that we wanted to make this thing clear that what he's saying doesn't make sense. Senna, there are a lot of loopholes. There are a lot of challenges with even persons that are credit worthy or they have access to these funds. Come to the United States, where you can say that the government prints money to stimulate the economy. Therefore, people sometimes have access to funds here and there because they can easily have access to jobs. There are millions, tens of millions of Americans in debt through credit cards. There are millions of Americans in debt. So therefore, what it suggests is that having financial literacy is one part. Being able to pay your debts is another thing. The interest on it itself is another thing. Look at the interest rate in Ghana. What is the vice president proposing that would help reduce the interest rate even to attract those that are credit worthy? He's not talking about it. He's not talking about creating jobs that would also give these people the opportunity to be able to be marketable in the eyes of the lenders. He's not discussing it. So how would a credit score fix these problems? How would this credit score fix the problems that these unemployed Ghanaians are calling for? So for us, we consider it as one of these, pipe dreams that he has running around and just saying anything, thinking that it will work. Like somebody said, right? You have a government that is rescuing Ghanaians from the same government. It just doesn't make sense.
A government rescuing Ghanaians from themselves.
From the same, yes, that's what they are doing. He was standing there saying that Ghana, we are suffering a lot. That's what he said before he even made mention of this particular proposal. And this is the same person that once upon a time was on a podium with a dancehall tune saying teachers are suffering, plumbers are suffering, lawyers are suffering, the whole Ghana is suffering. Fast forward almost 8 years in administration, he comes back and telling us that Ghanaians will suffer a lot. So you want to ask yourself, so what is your resume of which you think that we can trust you? If we are to use his economic performance, his own economic performance as indicators to see whether he himself will be credit worthy, I don't think he would even attract $1 at the international market. No lender would give Dr. Bawumia money when they check his record in terms of how he has managed the economy of Ghana. So how can we trust a person like this? How can we trust a person like this? So what we are saying here is that he is confused. He cannot tell the difference between a credit score and somebody that is credit ready. And also this system is already in place. The banking system has it already. They have a database that they're able to track, all those that are on the system and knows that have those that have access to loan, those that are paying, etc., etc. So what new is he bringing? What is he bringing that it's not already in existence? And like I said, credit score doesn't mean that you have access to capital or access to credit. You need to be credit ready first. You should have a reliable source of income that can be traced for the lenders to know that, yes, when we give you money, it will not be, a loss. They want to establish that it's not a risk investing or giving you the money. That's what it means.
So your credit score tells your credit worthiness.
Yes. Your credit score basically checks your history.
Okay.
Your debts, your payments record, etc. That's what it does. Credit score doesn't give you automatic access to funds. It doesn't. If I'm unemployed, what has credit score got to? How can I attract lenders? I don't have any source of income. How am I going to attract these lenders for me to have a score? How? I walk into a bank or I walk into any financial institution. Can I get a credit? They're going to ask you all the technical questions. Are you gainfully employed? Do you have any source of income? If I don't have all these things, how am I going to get a score? How am I going to be on a record of which they can trace? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So The vice president seems to be confused and don't even understand the needs of the people, or he's just trying to shy away or trying to play this what we call confident trickster game. That's what he's trying to do.
And talking about needs,
Standing in
because
front of
you're also making a point that the people he was even talking to are not the kind of people you should be talking to about credit scoring because they do not have jobs. Are you also saying he's not prescribing the solutions that are required at this time, that credit scoring is not one of the solutions to the problems we have currently?
Yes. He was standing in front of unemployed Ghanaians. You could see when you watch these individuals, you can tell that, they don't even know what a credit score is. And that's the reason why he could give such, a weak example that he will talk to the mobile phone dealers so that they can give phones to persons on credit, thinking that because of Ghana card, you can track people. No, that will not be a requirement. Your ability to pay will be the requirement. Your ability to pay first and foremost will be the requirement. And if they're unable to meet their requirements, your Ghana card can't give you money. Ghana card is not a key to open financial windows. It is just an identity. It is just an ID, a unique ID assigned to you. That is all. It doesn't give you any financial muscle. So that analogy itself is flawed. And standing in front of a crowd, persons who do not even know, for want of a better word, right, may not be that savvy in this whole credit system, especially when, Ghanaians, we don't practice it, actively. How do you think they will take it? They don't even know what you're talking about. Why didn't he go to, corporate Ghana to announce this? He would have gotten the right response, that we already have access to funds. What we need from you is maybe find ways to reduce the interest rate so we can get it at a much lower rate. And then let your policies, economic policies, be in a way that it will stimulate the economy so that there could be constant cash flow in the system so people can have access to funds and create jobs. That is what the question, probably what they would have told him. But guess what? He stood outside, talked to some MPP sympathizers or foot soldiers, and gave them this news. Pipe dream. It makes absolutely no sense. It's not compatible. Any policy, Senator, before a policy comes out, it is as a result of events, as a result of prediction, okay, or something that you intend to face. What does this seek to face? In a demand and supply chain, how does this play at this moment? When you have almost, once upon a time, I think a couple of months ago, unemployment rate was what, 14%? 14%. This should be a headache on you. It's a whole national security problem, and you are discussing credit score. Let this make sense.
Mr. Appiah, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you, Senator, for having me.
Arnold Appiah is President NDC Pro from US, joining us, raising questions with Dr. Bawumia'S proposal of a credit scoring system that would finally lead to mobile phone